Hello, doctors. I'm Dr. Chris Rapoff of QME Continuing Education, and welcome to this week's presentation. Today we conclude our series as we gather interesting information that was taken from a recently published Commission on Health and Safety and Workers' Compensation 2023 Annual Report. Now, last time we discussed the system costs of the medical legal expenses with data was provided before and after the implementation of the new 2021 official medical legal fee schedule. And surprisingly, we found that there were mixed results as they investigated the effects of the new MLFS that was implemented. Now today we're going to explore the potential medical legal cost drivers of this new medical legal fee schedule as we analyze the medical legal services separated by their medical specialties. Where does your specialty fall in this analysis? Well, has the new medical legal fee schedule of 2021 affected your specialty directly? Let's take a look. First, before we get started, these are the following sources that I reference when producing this presentation. Feel free to copy and paste these links into your browser if you'd like to read more about their deep dive into the new medical legal fee schedule. Now, before we begin today's discussion, let's take a look at a comparison of the old versus the new MLFS of 2021. With the introduction of the new MLFS, the DWC implemented extensive changes to regulations governing the reimbursement of the medical legal services. The most significant changes to the MLFS are outlined as the following. They replaced the time-based billing for an ML101, ML104, and an ML106 with flat rate fees to eliminate the hourly billing components of the medical legal fee schedule. A standardized missed appointment reimbursement of $503.75, and a provision for payment of records reviewed in anticipation of the appointment. In addition, page-based reimbursement for medical record review, which is $3 per page in excess of a certain number of pages, depending on the type of report. Also, an elimination of the complexity factors that were open to subjective interpretation by the providers and led to disputes regarding their proper application. Also, increases in reimbursement for the medical legal testimony, and increases in reimbursement for the reports involving psychiatric, toxicology, and cancer issues. We also had replacement of the 100 series designation, the medical legal 100 through 106, for the billing codes by a 200 series, ML200 to 206, for the purposes of clarification and the comparisons between the old and the new fee schedules. And finally, adding the record review to a 200 series in order to identify the charges for review of records in excess of pages included in the medical legal numerical billing codes. Now, according to the DWC, although the 2006 medical legal fee schedule paid both flat and hourly fees to review medical records, write medical reports, and testify in trials, there was a substantial increase in the incidence of hourly billing in recent years that wasn't matched by an increase in the complexity factors of matters reviewed by the physicians. A flat fee-based medical legal fee schedule would eliminate the need to interpret regulations to determine the appropriate fees for medical legal evaluations. And the empirical data evidenced by this and cited by the studies by the DWC indicate that some of the current interpretations of the fee schedule regulations were done in a manner that was completely circumvented the original intent of the fee schedule. The implementation of a new fee schedule would be expected to result in objective and standardized outcomes and reduced the frictional costs. Now, the increase in reimbursements for medical legal evaluations provided by the new MLFS was also expected to improve the quality of medical legal reports and attract new physicians to the QME program. According to the latest data provided by the DWC, 211 new physicians joined the pool of certified QMEs in 2021, while only 18 became inactive, resulting in 2,554 active evaluators, which would be a 2.6% increase from 2020. However, a 0.7 decrease from 2019. So we're not sure if what they intended to happen did happen with increasing the QMEs that were involved in the state of California's system. Here we have a very interesting slide when they divide these into the medical specialties. The physicians that specialized in orthopedic specialty provided 58% of all the medical legal services in 2022, while the chiropractors, internal medicine, psychiatrists, psychologists were providing 6 to 11% of the services each in 2022. Additionally, you can see that the numbers did significantly change and they reduced in the orthopedic amount of testing here from 2017 to 21, from mid-60s to low 60s to 2022 of only 58%. As you see also, chiropractic slowly increased from 2017 of 6% to 11% in 2022. But everything else seems to be virtually unchanged. Now here we see while 6% of all medical legal evaluations were performed by the psychiatric and psychological providers in 22, those evaluations comprised 11% of the total medical legal payment costs. And also, orthopedics, if you can see, the trends were about the same again. Orthopedic had 56% in 2017 and down to 53% in 2022, whereas chiropractic payments increased from 2017 of 6% up to 10% in 2022. Now here we have the average cost of a medical legal evaluation by the types of providers. As you can see, the amounts are staggering in the differences in the specialties. The historical data showed that the differing trends in the average cost per evaluation and the increase in the frequency of the medical evaluations in California could be explained by both the frequency and the cost of psychiatric and psychological behavioral evaluations per claim. Increasing payments for these psychiatric evaluations was one of the main goals of the new medical legal fee schedule of 2021. As you can see, in 2017 it went from $3,100 average for a psych eval to $3,393 in 2022, where others in orthopedics went from $1,223 to $1,843. There was an increase. Internal medicine also increased. Neurology increased, chiropractic increased, and all others did increase. So they did establish and reach the goal. What they were trying to do was to provide more medical legal payments to the providers. Now, as we learned last week, about 60 to 63% of all medical legal evaluations were conducted for reports on permanent disability claims that are more expensive and take longer times to close. Here we learned that the share of the medical legal evaluations on permanent disability claims performed by the psychiatrists and psychologists, internal medicine and cardiology, and neurologists are higher compared to the average share of the reports for permanent disability claims. About 87% of all reports performed by the psychiatrists and psychologists in 2022 were performed for permanent disability claims. This slide illustrates the distribution of the medical legal payments by type of procedure. And here we see that the share of the comprehensive reports actually declined by 11 percentage points from 2017 to 2022, and the share of the supplemental reports declined by 2 percentage points in the same period. However, the shares of the follow-up reports and missed appointments increased from 2017 to 2022. Now here we see a breakdown that in 2022, 96% of all the medical legal payments were done for preparation of the main medical legal report, such as a comprehensive, which would be 68%, the follow-up report, which would be 14%, and supplemental, 15%, with the testimonies and missed appointments comprising just merely 4% of all payments. So you could see the thrust of this would be for the reports themselves. So doctors, this study did provide us with a lot of statistical data, and it was really performed to assess the relative effectiveness of the new and supposedly improved medical legal fee schedule that really was a long time in coming. The research that I discussed today provided us with some guidance and understanding of the changes. However, with the medical legal costs continuing to rise, while this is a good start, it appears that there is still some more work to be done to corral the costs while providing evaluators with a fair monetary compensation. Now, we did learn that since the DWC implemented this new medical legal fee schedule in 2021, there has been an uptick in the number of providers choosing a career as a QME in the workers' compensation system. And some of these providers have seen an increase in their compensation as well. However, anticipated cost savings under the new fee schedule is still questioned, and it appears that some tweaking of this new fee schedule may be necessary before they achieve the intended cost savings goals that they had hoped for. Well, doctors, I'm Dr. Chris Rapoff, and I wanted to thank you again for taking the time to join me in this presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, and I do look forward to sharing some other interesting subjects as they relate to the workers' compensation system in the state of California. Until next time, thank you.